So today I'll be talking about, perhaps the most important aspect of robotics, and that is control theory and its application to one particular type of end use, that is like the line following robot. Uh, Personally speaking, that this is my favorite aspect of robotics. Control theory, because this is the sort of the brains behind your robot. So we sort of talked about making robots move through kinematics. We talked about sensors being the eyes and ears of the robot, but now we'll talk about the brains behind the brains that go into making a robot. So initially, I had planned on including this in the sixth lesson, but I felt that since this is such a core part of what robotics is about, I thought of including it right now. And since line following implementation is an example of control theory, I thought of doing stuff together. So this is where we stand right now. We've completed kinematics in lesson 2. We talked about robot motion there. We talked about robot sensing in lesson 3. Now we'll bring both these concepts into lesson 4 so that we can have a sort of a complete package. And depending on your progress on these assignments, I can sort of play around with lesson 6. I can talk about maybe more complex stuff, or I can talk about what projects that you might be interested in doing, but it depends on you guys. Okay, so more specifically, what we'll be doing today is we'll be talking about what is control theory all about. We'll be talking about some cool examples in modern control theory that is applied to modern robotics. I'll also be talking about a bit of what I did in my master's that involved control theory and machine learning. Then we'll talk about two simple, well, one of them is simple. We'll talk about one simple type of controller, which is called the on-off controller. And that is the controller that you'll be using in your line following implementation. And then we'll be talking about a different type of controller called the PID controller. This is a much more powerful version of this on and off controller, but it's used in many examples. Then I'll give you like a small bonus project that you might be interested in, especially the undergrads among you. So then we'll move on to how we can actually implement a line following control algorithm in VRAM. Okay, so the first thing that you need to know as far as controls is concerned is that it's basically, it has applications everywhere. It's not just restricted to robotics. You can find control applications in the aircraft industry, the spacecraft industry, in healthcare, in multiple domains. I'll show you some examples in a few slides, but yeah, you just have to keep that in mind. So let's start off with the basics as to what control theory or what control systems are all about. And for that, you can have a look at this simple picture of a water heating system. So, so if you want to heat up water, what do? You turn on the switch, it heats up. Then say after 5 minutes of heating up, you decide to turn off the heater. And that's essentially what a control system is all about. It's as simple as that. So it's essentially a mechanism that acts as a decision-making body of your process that controls your process. All right, so your water heater is perhaps the simplest example of a control system. You turn your heater on, you wait for a few minutes, turn it off, and the water gets hot. So there are two types of control systems. One is called an open loop control system, and one is called a closed loop control system. So it sort of depends on what you are measuring and how you control it. So if you replace your timer with a temperature sensor, you get what is called a closed loop control system, because what you're measuring, what you want to control, that is temperature, is actively being sensed by a temperature sensor. Whereas in this case, you are just basing it off of some arbitrary time. You have no idea whether the heater will be hot, the water will be hot enough after say 5 minutes, but it does serve its purpose nonetheless. So that is a simple example of a control system. Now, why would you need a control system in robotics? So imagine a person walking blind, right? A blindfolded person. He or she will not, and if you ask that person to walk in a straight line, being blindfolded, which is not necessarily a good idea, but just for the purpose of this example, he or she might not end up walking in a straight line. That's because he's unable to sense his surroundings. So because of that, he or she is also unable to take decisions on what he needs to do. So when we subconsciously walk in a straight line, right, what we are doing is our eyes are telling our brains to, you need to move left, you need to move right. So the decision-making body or our brain is like a control system. So without a control system, we would have no way of telling ourselves whether we're doing something the correct way or not. So in other words, a control system acts as a feedback mechanism. So that basically enforces the correct behavior on what your robot needs to be doing. So another example could be like a self-driving car. And if you want your self-driving car to stay in your lane, right? A control system would enforce such behavior. Without a control system, your self-driving car will tend to drift away from your lane and then might go and hit and crash something else. So yeah, control systems are the heart of robotics. They are perhaps, if you ask me, one of the most important components of robotics. Any questions so far as to what control systems are and why it's needed? Okay. So these are some of the examples of modern applications of control systems to modern robotics problems. So all the problems that you see on this picture are very complicated examples and need very complicated control strategies to work out. So I'll spend a bit more time on this slide because I think there's so much of information. So this, let's take this example first. So this is, go back. So this is from UPenn, a very famous institute, and they have like a world-class robotics facility. And you can see that what the UAVs are capable of doing. Now, this would not be possible without complex control strategies. You can see that these robots can basically do anything. They can fly through small window slits. They can basically do an upside down roll and all that stuff. And yeah, it's very cool what these guys can do. And they spent years and years developing and perfecting their own control strategy. And these two examples that you see here, they're actually from a software. The software is called OpenAI Gym, and I'll get to that in a bit, but you can see that these are very complex examples. You can see that even with the most modern applications and modern algorithms, this robot is struggling to even walk. So you can get the scale of how difficult these problems are. In fact, these problems are so difficult, 1 and 2, that they have to involve both control theory and machine learning to end up becoming successful. And you can also see one example that happened recently. I think that Falcon 9 spacecraft that was launched yesterday, right? That also would not have been possible without a robust control strategy. So control strategy exists even in spacecraft, and it also exists in some other examples could be controlling diabetes in patients. I've had friends who design control systems that can actually do that. Another example could be playing chess. Chess, you might not think of it as a control system, but it is a decision-making task, right? So any task that can be dissolved into a decision-making system, you can basically apply a control system strategy to it. Now let's go on to this slide. So OpenAI Gym is actually a very cool environment. It's founded by Elon Musk. It's basically a platform to test out all your state-of-the-art machine learning algorithms on certain benchmark robotics problems. So,
oh my God, I just want to remark that this is the coolest thing I've seen.
so yeah, this is, you have a bunch of stuff here. So you can basically design your own control problem. Of course, these will require, to solve many of these problems, you need to incorporate machine learning techniques. But if some undergrads are interested in this, I can definitely give you more information on this. But I just wanted to show you what the capabilities of controls, applications are in modern robotics. So you can basically write your own control algorithm to solve these problems. This is what I, took a screenshot of. And mind you, many of these problems are very tough. Now, these are super hard problems. If you remember my first lesson on the Boston Dynamics robot, yeah, this is a sort of like a simulated version of that. Then you have a pick and place robot. Yeah. So this is entirely open source. It's entirely written in Python. So you can theoretically make your own algorithms to, compete with the people who've done all this. So you have groups from MIT, CMU, Stanford University, all writing their own algorithms to do these tasks in an efficient manner. In fact, they have a leaderboard as well. So yeah, I can give you more information on that in a little bit. But I just wanted to show you what is the end goal of control theory in robotics. So I hope that gives you some picture as to what it's all about. Now, a small question that I'd like to ask you guys is, what do you think some of the sensors are used in this robot? This is something that we've covered in the last lesson, but I just wanted to, bring up again.